So, good evening, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Debit, I saw your question, and the answer is, to be honest, I really hate these intro themes. It annoys me. I always skip past them. So no, I'm not keen to have an intro theme. Yeah, guys, can everyone hear me all right? Is the audio coming through okay? Oh, yes, we are live. Okay. So, hey, welcome everyone. Look, this one was done. I literally decided to do this half an hour ago, and 25 minutes ago, I put this online. I advertised it um, simply because my discussion on Islamic deceit has been causing some reaction, and I felt that I needed to address this issue. Okay, so everything is running, everything is looking positive. So, welcome and thank you for being here. So, let me see. Right. So recently, I've been having a few discussions on Telegram. Oh, okay. You only heard me say about halfway of the intro. My bad. I will repeat. So welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. I only decided to do this 30 minutes ago. So 25 minutes ago, I posted this online. It's in reaction to especially my Telegram talks, which have been on a Telegram channel. I have posted the links elsewhere. And Michiel van der Vlies, yes, they lie about lying. It's compulsory to lie about the lying. It's just compulsory to lie. Debit, you asked me about do I want to do an intro? No, I don't. I really hate these long intros. No matter what video, no matter what, I just really don't like intro themes and tunes, and I just prefer. David Wood just he has this like 3 second thing. I can live with that, and then you start talking. That I just prefer. Just start. That's for me. So yeah. Besides, maybe one day when the channel gets big and there's budget for all of that, then we can talk. Not right now. Okay, so I've been having these Telegram talks in a Telegram channel, and you saw in the last video that I posted yesterday, I had a strong reaction from various Muslims who were very bluntly lying. Now, I want to have a discussion about lying, deception in Islam, which is a mandatory doctrine. It's obligatory. It's not optional. It is really, really sad that this is the case, but we have to acknowledge it. We have to accept that this is the case, and we need to deal with it rationally as adults. We have to factor this into our calculations. You may love dogs, but if a dog is rabid, it's going to bite you. You have to treat it with respect to the fact that this thing is not well and it can hurt you. Understand? So being compassionate is one thing, being naive is another. Okay, so Takia is term for Shia. Well, we're going to talk about that, Debit. Takia is term for Shia. All this time I've been saying to Sunni Abdul Shia instead of Mudarat. No, the Sunnis don't even use the term Mudarat. We're going to get into all of this, so let me cover this. I want to go through the various sources. I want to take you to the main sources that I know of. This is not to say these are the only sources available. These are the ones available to us that I know of right now. Typically, when I dig, I find more, but I'm digging so many holes in so many places, I can only dig so far in one particular hole. So take this as an invitation for you guys to look deeper, to search, okay? I will provide links to all of these things. Archive.org is always going to be one of your best friends when looking for resources in Islam. On that score, let me check if there's any questions, and then I will start. And Zahar, thank you very much. I really am very grateful. Thank you for the donation. I do appreciate it. And let me see. Okay, so right, I hope you guys have your bacon, and which is inoculation. I mean, just like apparently there's the inoculations for various diseases. We're gonna need bacon for this. Lots of bacon. I'll take extra bacon. Uh, yeah, sorry guys about the ads, but I do need to make some income. So, okay, now let David. So the question is here: how are Muslims even okay with lying? Because they don't perceive it as lying. They don't understand Islamic morality is not Christian morality. These are two opposite and often contradictory forms of seeing the world. These are two separate worldviews. They do not see the world. Their civilization is different to yours. When they live in your culture, obviously, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. But if you hate the Romans, well, don't let them know that you're undermining them. I've said this before, and this is something that is very little known. There are things that I know about Islam that I think is generally I would assume are not well known, except by myself. Um, in the West, we say the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Fine. In Islam, there is a saying, do not let your enemy know he is your enemy. Understand? So you deceive your enemy into being complacent. So understand, do not let your enemy know he is your enemy. So they're not going to tell you. Well, so they have a different set of morals. They view the world differently, and you are the enemy, right? Islam views the rest of the world as the enemy, and they need to defeat you ultimately because you're worshipping the religion of Satan, the Din al-Batil, and they need to make Islam supreme, right? The Sharia has to cover the world. Now, don't tell me the Abduls copied the art of war from Sun Tzu. Now, they have their own format. There is a book by a Brigadier S.K. Malik called The Quranic Concept of War, which is the equivalent of the Sun Tzu text, The Art of War. Okay, Brigadier S.K. Malik was Brigadier of the Pakistani Armed Forces. The book has a foreword by two people, one of whom was the ex-president of Pakistan, which gives the book the weight of governmental authority. Understand? So yes, I would say that they certainly take from that. Now, okay, let me start here before I get to, okay, so David says, I mentioned in Iran global jihad. If you read the Iranian constitution, in the opening preamble and in another section, it states bluntly that the Iranian Revolution must be exported worldwide, and that the job of these Iranian National Revolutionary Guard is to export the Islamic Revolution worldwide. So, but that's a side topic, so let me get to this. There are numerous Islamic doctrines of deceit. I don't think this list is all of them. I don't think this is what we would call a definitive list. Okay, I'm just going to move myself to the top right for the moment. So these are some of the Islamic doctrines of deceit. Now, taqiyya, Muslims will tell you, is Shia. Okay, Shi'i or what Shiite or however you want to pronounce that, right? Technically, yes, right? Because the Sunnis were killing the minority Shia, and the Shia had to somehow make sure that they were saved from being killed by the Sunnis. And they developed this doctrine of taqiyya, right, which is known as calculated deceit, a tactical deception. Okay, so tactical, calculated deceit. Okay, for the purposes of spreading Islam. Now, there are two forms of taqiyya. One is obviously to save your own life, and the other is for the purposes of spreading Islam. So there are at least two forms that I'm aware of taqiyya. Now, again, look this up. If more of you start to do a little bit of research, you're going to find more details and fill in blanks that I've missed. I cannot see everything. I don't have time to examine everything. However, technically, the name for taqiyya in Sunni Islam is mudarat. However, the Islamic scholars, the Sunni Islamic scholars, most certainly use the word taqiyya or variations of taqiyya, tuqiyya, and so on. They use the term, and it's commonly used in Sunni Islam. So they don't use mudarat. It almost doesn't appear anywhere. Okay, so that's more just a technicality that it's mudarat. Now, what is interesting is that Sunni comes from Sunnah. So these are Muslims who follow the Sunnah. It doesn't say Quranis, it says Sunnis. And it's very interesting that Sunni Muslims, the moment you bring up the Sunni and it's embarrassing to them, will throw the Sunnah straight under the bus. Okay, the Sunnah goes right under the bus immediately. Everything in the Sunnah. It's interesting that the people of the Sunnah deny the Sunnah. Odd how that works. Now, kitman, deceit by silence or omission. Is your mother home? Oh, sorry, is your mother here? Okay, and the little boy says, no, she's not here. She's in the kitchen, but she's not here in front of me, between you and me right now. Oh, well, sorry, well, let her know I was visiting, and I will see you later. Bye-bye. Okay, because the mother's not here. So that's telling in Islam a white lie. Okay, it is, we'll get into the details. I will discuss that. Now, lying by omission, leaving out critical facts, right? So deceit by silence, deceit by leaving out critical facts, omission, right? Now, for instance, one example that is very common within Islam, Muslim apologists will quote a fragment of the verse 532 that if anyone kills, it shall be as if he had killed all mankind, while neglecting to mention that this verse specifically says it was decreed for the Israelis, it was decreed for the people of Israel, for the Jews. So they're quoting the Talmud, which says that this was decreed for the people of Israel, not for the Muslims, right? And that the rest of the verse and the next mandate murder and torture in undefined cases of corruption and mischief, right? Which include crucifixion and such. All right. So understand that there is this utilization of kitman, which is very common in this case. Yeah, they all become, as David says, yes, they all suddenly become Quranist. If you watch my most recent show, you'll see that's exactly what happens. The Sunnah goes right under the bus immediately. Right, now, Tawriya, deceit by ambiguity. Kitman and Tawriya would be very similar. You've all heard Yasir Qadi talk about Tawriya, deceit by ambiguity. We're going to get into more technical details on that. Taysir, the doctrine of deceit through facilitation. In other words, you don't have to observe all the tenets of the Sharia. Now, there's a joke. When I was living in Dubai, and I will say this, I liked Dubai. I had a great time in Dubai. I benefited greatly from Dubai in my time there. But the Brits used to have a saying about the British women that would meet Muslim men there, love jihad. And they would say MMD, which meant my Muhammad's different. They would joke, the British men would all joke that all the British women would always say, but my Muhammad's different, until they got married, and then suddenly the hammer came down. All right? So this is because they weren't following all the tenets of the Sharia until the time for games stopped. And then once they got into the family, right, then, as I said, the hammer comes down and the rules are strictly enforced. So that is Taysir. Darura, very, very similar, okay? But now the main form of deceit in Islam, where the most, as far as I can tell, the most detail and attention is paid, where the most literature is written, because Hiyal was defined by, in literature, already, the techniques of Hiyal was defined in literature by 805 already, by the early 9th century. So it is the main form of deceit within Islam. These are not all the methods of deceit. The method of debate is based on a form of rhetoric which is also used to deceive called adab al-jadal. I've discussed that in the past. This is all part of hiyal, which is a stratagem of war, and it's an artifice, tricks, deceptions used to persuade, deceptions used to win an argument, right? Deceptions used to convince, not to find truth. There is no point in which their methods of debate, their methods of discussion are utilized to find truth. They're designed to win. So hopefully that clarifies, and I'm going to get into some other things now. What I'm going to show you, so let's have a look here. In that, deception is used for the purposes of warfare. Let me go here. Not there. Sorry, I need to go here. So what I have here is this. Notice this is Ibn Taymiyyah, the very first of the Sheikh al-Islam, right? So you have Muhammad. Under Muhammad is Al-Ghazali, the #1 scholar in Islam after Muhammad himself. Then you have the 4 Imams, right? The Mujtahids Mutlaq, Hanafi, Hanbali, Shafi, Maliki, of the 4 schools of fiqh. Then you have Ibn Taymiyyah and the other Sheikh al-Islam. He was the first one. Notice he calls taqiyya calculated deception. Okay? So Ibn Taymiyyah himself, and calculated deception. And it is a stratagem of war because it is part of the religious and moral doctrine of jihad. Understand? They're at war. And this is important to note, that lying and deception is a specific part of the Islamic warfare doctrine, and keep this in mind because it is going to be important. Right, now, any questions before I go on? Let me see if there's any things. Breaking oaths between others. Yes, certainly breaking oaths. Now, hiyal is the strategy that allows you to break oaths, okay? Hiyal is contortion, contrivance, devices, subterfuge, legalistic trickery. It allows the breaking of oaths, promises, contracts, and any Sharia law. Okay? So it is artifice. Look up the word artifice. It is a tool designed to deceive. This is artifice. Now, I'm going to go to, this is called the revival of religion sciences, or the revival of the religious sciences, called the Ihya Ulum al-Din. Okay? There are 4 volumes by Hamid al-Ghazali, the #1 scholar in Islam after Muhammad himself. Okay? I have clipped these from Google Books. I'm going to send you guys the link again. I'm going to drop this in the chat right now. Okay. So that is the link to it. And also this is in my OneNote database. I'm going to send you my OneNote database link now as well. Oh, that was the OneNote database link that I'm using. And look in the section on sacred lying. And here is the link to, oh, okay. No, check in the description, please, for the link to the Ihya Ulum al Din, as I have it there in Google Books. Okay, please look in the description so that you can see exactly what I'm referring to, and everything you need is in the description. Okay, now volume 3 of the Ihya Ulum al Din discusses permissible lying and obligatory lying. Okay, I'm going to go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this up first. I'm going to bring up this. Let me start here. Right. These are all relevant. We're going to see how this is. This is the tafsir of Quran verse 328. Of course, this I believe is Ibn Kathir. And we all know this. Al-Bukhari recorded, Sahih Bukhari, who becomes Da'if Bukhari the moment you mention him, right? We smile in the face of some people, although in our hearts we curse them, right? We smile in the face of some people, although in our hearts we curse them, right? And it says here, the taqiyya, tuqiyya, it says here, but it's taqiyya, these are Sunnis, is allowed until the day of resurrection. So taqiyya is allowed until the day of resurrection, permanently, till the end of times, okay? So make a note of that, this is important. Right, Ihya Ulum al Din, I've now looked it up here. The Ihya Ulum al Din, what is it and why is it important? Why are we going to refer to it? Okay, so what we can learn about the Ihya Ulum al Din is, it says here, the revival of the religious sciences is regarded widely as the greatest work of Muslim spirituality and is perhaps the most read work in the Muslim world after the Quran. So in other words, this is one of the very greatest scholars Islam has ever produced, the number one scholar after Muhammad himself, and he wrote a book that is the most popular book in Islam after the Quran. Now we'll know immediately from Muslims that A, he wasn't a real Muslim, and he was a deviant, and this book obviously isn't relevant, it's not Islamic. It's obviously written by a Buddhist, and it's about bicycle parts. But that's just how they roll. Okay, so it's widely regarded as the greatest work after the Quran itself. It is the most popular, most read work on Islamic spirituality, and it explains, so it's divided into 4 parts with 10 chapters, the knowledge and requirements of the faith, and so on and so on and so on. What does Wikipedia tell us about this? Well, Wikipedia tells us it is regarded as one of his chief works and a classic introduction to the pious Muslim's way to Allah. But it also speaks about attaining the higher stages of Sufism. And Muslims are very keen to tell us that Sufis are deviants. But notice, the greatest scholar in Islam who wrote the most read book after the Quran was a Sufi. Interesting stuff. Okay. And let's continue. So, it is perhaps the most influential work on ethics in Islamic history. It became the most frequently read Islamic book after the Quran and the Hadith. Okay, still close enough. Okay. And Nawawi, one of the major scholars, one of the Sheikh al-Islam, stated, were the books of Islam all to be lost, except only the Ihya, it would suffice to replace them all. So, there we go. So this book clearly has some level of relevance to Islam. The revival of the religious sciences, and it says here, it is the most famous work of Imam al-Ghazali, one of the most famous and widespread Islamic books, deals with faith and works, and so blah, 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 blah. So the book is relevant to Islam. It is important. That's why I picked it. Okay? So now, Bible verses about lying. So I'm going to skip this one because the Bible is very clear. If you look at the 10 commandments, the 8th commandment, depending on how you write the list, says thou shalt not bear false witness. Okay? Speak no guile. That word guile, we're going to see that in the Islamic writings. From lying lips and a deceitful tongue, deliver my soul. Lying lips are an abomination to the Lord. Okay, backbiting, we're going to come across backbiting. Deceit, we're going to come across deceit. But we know it is biblically because God is truth. God is logos. God cannot lie. Therefore, lying is an abomination unto God. However, we're going to see how this now works out in Islam. Now, of course, within the 10 commandments, we have, you shall not bear false witness. Okay, so Exodus 20, verse 16. Okay, now that I think we've got this out the way, I'm going to minimize that and we're going to start here. Let me get my water. Okay, any questions so far before I go on? I've laid the groundwork here. Mary Alex says, it's bizarre how Sufis are the least mentioned in Islam. There's a reason for that. They're the most important in Islam, and they hide them for a reason. And what we're going to learn about the Sufis as we go forward in the future is going to be very, very interesting. Um, okay. I see Emmanuel's in the chat. Welcome, Emmanuel. Good to see you. Thank you for coming. Marek, dobry wieczór. And, okay, right. So, I'm going to go through the Reliance of the Traveler. We're going to go through various translations of the Ihya Ulum al-Din. I'm going to show you. I have here the, if we go here, this is one version, okay? This is Ghazali's Ihya Ulum al-Din. Now, it states here in the introduction to the Ihya Ulum al-Din, it states here, sorry, let me just, you'll see here it states, Imam Abu Hamid al-Ghazali is unquestionably the greatest theologian of Islam. Okay, hey Emmanuel, good to see you, man. I've been watching your road trip and cool stuff. Hopefully we will chat one day soon. So, Imam Abu Hamid al-Ghazali is unquestionably the greatest theologian of Islam. And I've made this claim, Muslims make this claim, so I'm not making it up. Okay, he's one of its noblest and most original thinkers, right? And so he writes this book, and we're going to have a look here. Okay, this book deals with worship and divine service, called The Revival of Religious Learnings, Revival of the Religious Sciences, archive.org. Okay, archive.org. So I'm just going to type it in here, https, I'm assuming, archive.org. That's where you're going to find a bunch of stuff that is very relevant to what we're doing here. So, okay, we're going to be using volume 3, which is the relevant one for us here on this issue. But I'm going to go to my notes here. Now, if you go into, I've given you guys the notes to my OneNote database. Okay, I will link it now once more and then I'll jump in. Okay, so this is my OneNote database. Look it up, follow along. Okay, everything I'm using is going to be there for you to look at. I provide all my notes, research it, tell me I'm wrong. Okay, exposition of allowable lies. It should be known that telling lies is not unlawful. Okay, telling lies is not unlawful, so it's okay. Christianity, biblically, telling lies is an abomination to God. Okay, now we are not perfect, we lie. We are all sinners, we tell lies. But in Islam, telling lies is not unlawful. What they state is, what is wrong with lying is the harm that it causes to the person being lied to. But of course, we know within Islam, everything has an escape clause. Everything has an opposite. Hiyal creates. This is all hiyal. It's fast and loose with the talk. It's all how you can twist the language to mean something. It's sophistry. So, ignorance might serve the benefit. And since ignorance is caused by telling lies, it then might be allowable, if not obligatory, to lie. Okay? So, someone's ignorance, like you as the kafir, it might serve the Muslim's interest to keep you ignorant, right? Which serves their benefit. And since this is caused by telling lies, it is then obligatory for them to lie to you. Telling lies, in some cases, is better than telling the truth. So telling lies can be better than telling the truth. Any comments on that? So let me continue. Okay, so understand, so it starts off with a very fascinating set of moral concepts that go contrary to Western concepts. Kafir Linda Clark, yes, 1400 years of deceit. How do you change that? You don't. You don't. You bring it into the light. You drag it kicking and screaming into the light. You give them nowhere to hide. The Quran, they can go in circles. As someone very wisely said on my channel, I can't remember the name, but there was a comment today. Someone said, look, Satan is the father of lies. And definitely the father of Islam. Jesus says Satan is the father of lies. John 8, verse 44. That is true. Okay, so someone said on my channel, Hamza refuted again because of the previous show that I did. Because when you give Hamza the Quran, he'll say, but the Hadith. And when you show him the Hadith, he'll say, but the Quran. Understand? They will go in circles. When you show them Quran verse A, they'll tell you, but Quran verse B. When you tell them Quran verse C, they'll say, but Quran verse D. They will go in circles because the Quran is totally contradictory. Okay? So understand, you cannot beat them doing the Quran and Hadith. And when you show them the Hadith, they'll all suddenly become Quranists. You know this. The Sharia, okay? The fiqh, the The Islamic sacred law is where the rubber meets the road, is where things are in black and white, and they have nowhere to hide. Okay. So okay, what? Let's go on. So now, telling lies as such is obligatory. Now they have a situation where they state telling lies in the given circumstances is obligatory. Now, where does Jesus say you are compulsorily obligated to lie? He says, no, lying is an abomination. I am the way, the truth, and the life. Okay? But Mo and his crew is like, tell lies because it could be benefit in that. And keep them ignorant. And if you need to keep your enemies ignorant, well, lie to them. Speech is a means to achieve praiseworthy purposes. If it is possible to achieve your purpose only by telling lies, then telling lies is permissible in case achieving that purpose is permissible, and obligatory in case achieving that purpose is obligatory. Now, obviously, this implies that there are permissible and obligatory purposes in Islam. One of those is making the world Islamic, right? Is it ever not permissible to make the world Islamic, to lead people to Muhammad and Allah? No, there is no circumstances in where that is not permissible or not obligatory, right? That is the whole point of dawah. That's the whole point of Islam, to be paramount, to be supreme over all other religions, to be supreme over the whole world. So does this state then that there are obviously cases where it is obligatory to lie and that they will and are lying, right? Yes. So the dashing rug is very utilitarian in act. Yes, it is. Now, if it is impossible to accomplish war, okay, remember, Islam is permanently at war, right, with you, or to mend the relation between two adversaries through telling lies, then telling lies is allowable. Now, here's a question. David Wood is having a debate with Zakir Naik, okay? You are having a debate with an Abdul. Anybody who's not a Muslim is having a discussion with an Abdul. Are they adversaries? Are they not agreeing? Are they in disagreement? That's important because the word disagreement will come up more than once. Are you disagreeing? Are you on the same plane? Are you on opposite sides of the field? Yes, you are. Are they then allowed to lie to you? And the answer is yes. The answer is yes. Are they lying to you? The answer is yes. Do I even need to explain how they lie to you in the YouTube comments? You know this already. Okay? Gabriel Schöner says, I went to the funeral of a member of the Knights of Ulster. I told him my grandfather was a Shriner. He laughed and said, the Shriners are lowly and know nothing. Dude, the Shriners are superior to the Freemasons and they're fully Islamic. I mean, why would he tell you the truth? They've got no reason. You are part of the profane. Unless you're an initiate, you are part of the profane, and thus he has no reason to give you secret knowledge. If Abdul says anything about Islam, take the opposite as the truth and he'd be 100% correct. That's what Sunny Sleep says, and that's a fairly good point to take. Right, now, telling lies is unlawful unless it is necessary. So don't lie unless you have to, okay? Jesus never said that anywhere. He said tell the truth. So understand, unless it is, the exception is confirmed by the statement of the Messenger of Allah. So the exception that you can lie is confirmed by Muhammad himself. And the Messenger of Allah said he gave concession to tell lies in 3 cases, right? In warfare, remember, Islam is permanently at war. Remember, taqiyya is permissible till the day of resurrection, till the end of time. Why? Because that is when finally they will have won the world, right? Gabriel, I think you're overthinking this. Is he a real Shriner or a fake Shriner? Or maybe he's like a half Shriner, or maybe he's a 3/4 Shriner. Maybe he didn't pay his dues and they left him out like a few notes that, didn't have all the pages because he didn't pay $10, he paid $9. Dude, you're overthinking it. So according to Wiktionary, an unknown Middle Eastern language may have had a word for cube. Like, okay guys, yeah, can we focus on the subject at hand for the moment? Okay. So Josie Wales, that is true, but that is required. That's part of their doctrine of commanding the right and forbidding the wrong. They are forced, they're required, it's obligatory for them to utilize abusive language to drive you away, to make you stop. Okay? So, guys, now, so in 3 cases in battle, Islam is always at war with you, right? For bringing reconciliation amongst persons. Now, again, Do we disagree with Muslims? Do we like just not see eye to eye? Of course. So to reconcile, what does he have to do? Well, he has to lie to you. But we all believe in the same God. We love Jesus too. Is that true? No. They believe in Isa. Isa is the Gnostic Jesus. He's not Jesus of the Bible. He's Jesus of the Quran. That's a very different figure. He's not even Jesus. He's not Yeshua. And don't forget, the very first Arabic New Testament copy, the very first copy of the Arabic New Testament, the full copy of the Arabic New Testament, has Jesus' name as Yeshua. Whereas in the Quran, it's Isa. Very different issues here. Okay? So, it is not lawful to lie except in three things. Jamia Tirmidhiya, this is all over the hadith. Now, so they want to bring reconciliation. So they want to reconcile because there's an argument between Muslims and Christians that they are obligated to lie. It is seen as righteous and holy and right because Muhammad did it. Not a liar is he who makes reconciliation between two adversaries. Are you adversaries of them? Yes, you are. Are they your adversaries? Yes, they are. So if he lies to you, he is not a liar. Okay, we're going to see confirmation of this elsewhere. All kinds of lies are written as sins against the son of Adam, except when a man tells lies to make reconciliation between Muslims. So what does this tell us? Well, Muslims can lie to each other. Okay? If they want to keep the peace, they can lie to each other. So this is a culture which endorses, permits, and practices deceit through lying. Okay? Josie Wales says, this is exactly why we need you, Lord. Honest answers to honest questions. Never get to the truth from a follow. No, you will not. He has to lie to you. So, I told the messenger of Allah about something that happened. A guy lied to his wife or something in the story. Thereupon, Muhammad said, Abu Khalil, make reconciliation between the people, even by means of telling lies. So those are apparently the word of Muhammad, saying, make reconciliation even by telling lies. Muhammad recommended telling lies. This makes Muhammad a liar. Understand? And he makes Muslims liars. Okay, now maybe what I'm saying is not pleasant, maybe it's not PC. Unfortunately, Muhammad is recommending telling lies. He's making his followers into liars. Okay, now I must apologize to all of those the Christian apologists who don't like the fact perhaps that I'm very blunt about these things and who don't want to touch on these issues because they're controversial and but look, this is what it is. This is how it is. We need to accept this and deal with this. We need to grow up. Okay? Islam is filthy, it is ugly, and we need to expose this to the sunlight. Now, and he said, on that, there is no sin on you. Because this guy wants to lie. I sometimes tell lies to my wife. Now they're going to tell her it's little white lies, I tell her she's beautiful. I tell her I love her more than my other wife. Whatever, you're still lying. Okay? And this is not the only form of lying allowed because lying is permissible. Okay? So, there's no sin on you for lying. So when you tell lies to people to keep the peace, there is no sin on you. So the imam can lie to his flock, which is why Muslims are confused. Man can lie to his wife. Wife lies to husband. Parents lie to child. Child lies to you. It's sad. The Messenger of Allah said, of a surety, okay? Why do I see you competing each other to tell lies in the same way as flies compete each other to the fire? Of a surety, all kinds of lies are written as sins against the son of Adam, except, there we go, it's not right, except. Islam always has an out. Hiyal always gives it an out. Except when a man tells lies in war, for indeed, war is guile. Okay? Or when he makes reconciliation between two adversaries. Muhammad Hijab and David Wood on the stage. Did Muhammad Hijab lie? Of course he lied. Were they adversaries? Well, they weren't friends, right? So, what does he do? He lies. Do the Muslims in the audience know that Muhammad Hijab is lying? Yes, they do. All lies are sins, except that therewith one benefits a Muslim or averts harm from him. So hold on, let's read that again. All lies are sins, except that therewith one benefits a Muslim or averts harm from him. Now let's see, harm. How do they define harm? Embarrassment? Is embarrassment harm? Yes, it is. Okay? They don't mean he's going to get a knife through the throat. They don't mean he's going to get a bullet in the head. They're referring here to embarrassment. Right? So, he can lie if it saves him from harm, from humiliation, from embarrassment. right? Because Muslim is allowed to lie to protect his honor. We're going to see this. A Muslim is allowed to lie to protect his honor. He's allowed to lie if he's committed a sin, because the judgment is between him and Allah, not you and him, not the court and him, not the he's allowed to lie. It is permissible. So telling lies is reported to be allowable. It's allowed. So clearly there's permission. Now, one Muslim told me, but lying is allowed under very specific circumstances. So I told him, can you please type for me what those specific circumstances are so we can see them? I'm still waiting, and we all know I'm going to be waiting for the rest of my life, because I'm never going to get those very specific circumstances, because they are subjective, whatever the heck they think is necessary, right? So all lies are sins except what benefits a Muslim. Does lying benefit Muhammad Hijab? Does he feel pride? Does he win? Does the crowd go, yay? What does it benefit the Muslim, or does it save him from embarrassment? If you meet those two criteria, he can lie whole day, every day, to you for free, and he does. And he has for years. Now, evil doing he has committed in what is between him and Allah. So, now they mention here of someone who does something wrong, okay? And they speak of the evil doing that he has committed in what is between him and Allah Almighty, in which case he has the right to deny it. So someone is caught doing something wrong. He can deny it. He's allowed to deny it, because the judgment is between him and Allah. And he can say, I have never committed adultery or theft. The Messenger of Allah said, if one commits anything of those dirty and shameful things, he should screen himself with the screen of Allah Almighty, because to disclose a shameful deed is itself a shameful deed. So to admit to a wrongdoing is itself a wrongdoing. Therefore, it's better to deny it, so it's okay to lie. Any comments? Let me go have a look. Let me have a look through the questions here that's in the chat. And actually, let me also bring up my cursor. So what have I missed? Okay, so lying is okay in Islam. Allah is all merciful and forgiving. Yeah, well, he actually does forgive lying. There's actually a couple of things. Actually, I need to go to the tafsir of 68.1, and I'll explain something there. So you'll see. How can you think Allah is meant to be the truth when he supports lying? Exactly, Ricardo, Marin, this is... They don't see lying as lying. To us, lying is lying. It's offensive. To them, it's like the stuff you do to win. It's legal. It is... Understand a point I need to make. Imams, qadis, Islam doesn't have priests. They have lawyers. Technically they're jurists, but let's call them lawyers. Okay? Islam doesn't, the lay Muslim doesn't deal with priests. He deals with lawyers. Christianity has priests. Islam has lawyers who administer the law. Understand? There's a distinct difference. And this is legal. Islam doesn't have right and wrong the way we have within Western morality, Christian morality, right and wrong. They have legal and illegal, permissible. Okay? They have legal, obligatory, permissible. Understand? And so you have haram, you have halal, and you have wajib, and you have all of these other things in between. Obligatory, permissible, required, recommended. Understand? This is a very different concept. It's stuff that you'll be punished for in law, or will not be punished for in law, but it's not right and wrong. Okay? So welcome, Eva. Dzień dobry. So they need to learn how to handle that. Not like that guy. Guys want to give walla wallas. Okay, I have no idea what that is. Islam has lawyers and theologians. Technically, yeah, it has lawyers and theologians. The theologians are those on the Sharia, not on the Sharia side, but on the Hakika side. Technically, I mean, it is a religion of law, but it's a really fuzzy thing. I need to look into that in more depth. I'm busy working on that, but it's one of those many rabbit holes I'm chasing down. But thanks for that, Erkan. But here, technically it's jurists. Okay, technically it's a jurist, but yeah. Anyway, so let us continue. So one is the right to safeguard his soul and property, okay, and his honor with his tongue. Now notice I've mentioned a Muslim can safeguard his honor. Okay, remember these are honor cultures. We are dignity cultures in the West. They are honor cultures. Okay, that's why they love the argument. They love the fight. They love to be seen to be fighting and blah blah blah. That's a very Asian Arabic culture. Okay, the whole online debate, the whole blood sports online. One is the right to his honor with his tongue, even if he is to tell a lie. Oh boy, that surprised me. Why wasn't I expecting that? One has the right to save your honor with your tongue by telling lies. So this is the greatest scholar in Islam telling us that Islam permits lying and Muslims should lie, can lie, and must lie. He has the right to deny what he knows about his secrets. So if you've caught him out, he can lie about it because he has the right to lie about his own stuff. He has the right to tell lies in making peace between two foes. Is this sounding repetitive? If he learns that the forbidden that ensues from telling the truth is grievous under religious law, then that, okay. So if he learns that the forbidden that ensues from telling the truth is more grievous under religious law than that which ensues from telling a lie, then he has the right to tell a lie. So if he tells the truth and it's going to bring harm or it's going to violate the Sharia, right? It's going to violate Islamic law, the sacred Islamic law, and the truth will create more harm than would a lie, then he has the right. In fact, he's obligated to lie to you, lie to you, lie to me, lie to your mother, okay? Lie to everybody, lie to Jay Smith, lie to David Wood, lie to Sam Shamoon, lie to Adam Seeker, lie to everybody, okay? And notice we have here exposition of avoidance of telling lies by way of implicit references. Now, isn't that just a wonderful set of waffly words that's just a bunch of euphemisms strung together? Basically, lying by implication, lying by omission, tawriya, darura, taysir. Okay, tawriya. We discussed that earlier. Okay, so this is a different format of lying. Juliet Abrams says, Brother Lloyd, Surah Nur says otherwise about lying. The curse of Allah be on him if he's one of the liars. So, are you a Muslim, Juliet? The answer is no. Should they be lying to Muslims? Technically, no. Can they lie to Muslims? Of course they can. So, lying for various... How do you sort through this mess, Juliet? So the Quran says a lot of things. The Quran says plenty of things. Do they listen to the Quran? Where are the 5 daily prayers in the Quran? It's not in the Quran. They do that. Where's the Shahada? In those words. Here's a wonderful thing to use on Muslims. Where does the Shahada, the full Shahada, appear in the Quran? In those words. I want to see it in those words. It's not there. There is no full Shahada in the Quran. Do they still say it? Because it's not in the Quran. Because all these sudden Quranists are like, oh, only the Quran. And so, okay, so show me. And then suddenly, you know, they'll have to lie to you. They're forced to. Ricardo Martin. Waterfish. Waterfish. Did I miss something? Josie Whale says, it is permissible for a follower of the Islamic ideology to lie, to perjure themselves in court under oath. Of course, Josie Whale's like, hello, is it even a question? Right, they lie to Muslims, but less often they lie to us. Now, they do lie to Muslims. Look, in fact, if you read through it, it states it's legal to lie to Muslims. So given the right circumstances, there are rules where technically you shouldn't, and rules where technically you should. Yeah, I know, Julie Tabram, I know you're not a Muslim, understand? But remember, you're a kafir. You're the worst of beasts, right? They are the best of creation. You are the worst of beasts. So you are the dirt under their shoe, okay? Can they lie to the dirt under their shoe? Of course they can, right? Were the Islamic empires advanced? No, they stole stuff, dude. They're like the Borg. They came into your country, stole your stuff, sucked the money out, then they collapsed, then they went to the next country, sucked the money out, stole the technology, and then they collapsed, and so on, right? Dixit, Saha, welcome. Okay, so this is from a different copy of the Ihya Ulum al-Din, okay? Different version. There's multiple translations you can find online, okay? In this one, let's have a look at this one. This one is going to repeat a section from the previous one, but it's going to be in slightly different words, okay? Boston Red Sox says, Waterfish, welcome. Good to see you. Boston Red Sox says, Lloyd, when I pressure Mohammedoids to talk about Sharia, they do the Quran and Hadith talk, and of course they will. The Sharia is a secret. Understand? It's a secret they cannot reveal. It reveals the weaknesses and the secrets of the Muslims. It will be treason. It is treason against the nation of Islam to reveal this knowledge. Okay? They cannot. They're forced to hide it. So many apologists seem to think that Islam must be true because they were advanced. Look, dude, I will tell you that the two main issues that undermine Islamic confidence in Islam is, one, the immorality of Muhammad. Okay? So the main issue that affects the doubt of Muslims is the lack of Muhammad's morality. So the exposure of Muhammad's immorality really bothers them. And the second is the failure of Islamic cultures today, Islamic countries versus Western countries, the backwardness of Islamic countries today versus Western countries, Islamic countries versus Western countries. This is a big problem for them because Islam should have made them superior. Okay, so those are two issues you need to focus on if you want to undermine their confidence. Juliet says, I mentioned this verse as Dawah Ganders throw it at us when they tell them about lying. Yeah, they don't do scholars. What is the best response for them? Boston, look, they're lying to you. At some point, they just lie. I mean, what can you do? They're going to lie and lie and lie, right? You are not going to convince them. You need to convince the audience that's paying attention, the people behind them. They are commanding the right and forbidding the wrong, because it says the son of Adam. When they speak of the son of Adam, they're not necessarily referring to you because you're the dirt under their shoe, right? You're the worst of beasts. But the words of a Muslim count against him and not for him unless he is commanding the right and forbidding the wrong, right? Enforcing the Sharia and preventing you from violating the Sharia. When he does so, he's allowed to lie to do so, all right? So therefore, he is earning reward in heaven. He's getting barakah, right? So they're going to lie. They're going to, and you're not going to convince him. He's not going to admit. Remember, we've just seen that to defend his honor, he's allowed to lie because he can't be seen to lose. It's an honor culture. They can't let you win, right? So he has to win. So therefore, that's just how it's going to be. There's nothing you can do about it. So how do Muslims even know it benefits them that they're obliged? So heavy English, fast speech, and low sound. Please close the microphone. Dawn of the Rainbow, I have no idea what that means. Is anyone having a problem with my audio? Is anyone having a problem with my audio? Well, he who commits fornication shall keep it secret with the secrecy of Allah. What happened to witnesses? Yeah. So, just so you know, my microphone is off to the side of my head by half an arm's length. It's not in front of me like this. It's off to the side, and so there's no way I'm talking into it. I should not. So maybe there might be an issue. Let me check my. Give me a second. Just for you, Dawn, I will check my audio again because my audio levels are correct. I will check my inputs. Input level is 63 on this one. Input level on this one, 63. No, my audio levels are correct as far as I can tell. So Dawn, you may have an issue with your audio equipment. Perhaps my Arnold Nathaniel, perhaps my years of operatic training. Dude, you don't want me to sing because then I'm going to have to start paying you guys to watch my lessons. Okay, so let's finish with this and then move to some other sources and end off. All right. There is no sin in that falsehood which benefits a Muslim or removes a harm from him. So, there is no sin in the lying. Let's call it what it is, the lie. There is no sin. Sorry, my bad. Let me just go back here. There is no sin in the falsehood, the lies, which benefits a Muslim. So, you can lie if it benefits you. Slightly different translation. Okay? 2012 Stephen, what was the question? Okay, are Muslims allowed to deny Allah in order to save their lives? Yes, of course. Of course, that's taqiyya. That's taqiyya. That's one of the methods of taqiyya, one of the meanings of taqiyya. Edkin says, yeah, it's off limits for lay Muslims, possible for educated Muslims. Yeah, things change for the Sufis. That the Sufis are allowed to sin. The Sufis are allowed to sin. The Sufis are allowed to break the Sharia and go ape. Okay. Christian JC says, greetings and God bless you, Brother Lloyd. Your OneNote page link in Adam's channel is used by us in Apologetics and Clubhouse. Please come to Clubhouse and go live. We'll host you. Thank you. Just can you drop me a drop me a comment in the comments section of the YouTube video later in case I forget. I do forget. Or drop me a link now in the chat and then later in the comment section, please. And I'll be happy to follow up with you guys. Weller Johnson, Muslims say there is a good lie and bad lie, of course. Who is sorting of lies? Exactly. Person who's telling lies, for him it is good, of course. It benefits him. Understand, if it benefits a Muslim, it's good. It's all good. He can lie to you whole day, every day for free, and he does because it benefits him. Now, of course, look, I have to now, of course, say this because it's obligatory because oh my God, Lloyd hasn't said that not all Muslims, dude, we know this. Okay, not all dogs are going to bite you either. Okay, but I don't. Do I need to like grovel because I made the claim that dogs bite people? Ugh. Okay, so we know this, but we are dealing with these Dawagandists, and these Dawagandists are trained specifically to lie because their format of debate is a method of deceit based on lying, utilizing rhetoric. Let's be clear about this, okay? So there is no sin in the lies which benefits a Muslim or removes a harm from him. That harm could just be embarrassment. The Prophet said, "He who commits fornication shall keep it secret with the secrecy of Allah." As to disclose an obscene act is also an obscene act. So do bad things, but don't admit to them. Don't talk about them, don't admit to them. Every man should save his life and honor. So every man should save his honor, okay? Taking recourse to lying. To save your honor, lie. If inquiry is made to you about a secret thing of your brother Muslim, you can deny it to preserve his honor. So, if we ask about Mo, who is the brother to the Muslim, right? Well, I mean, he's your brother Muslim, right? He's your fellow Muslim. Deny it. That's why they will deny the Sunnah. They will deny anything about Muhammad. If harm is caused more than benefit in the case of speaking the truth may be avoided. If harm is caused more than the benefit in speaking the truth, it may be avoided. Avoid the truth if it brings harm. Okay? I hope that is clear. I hope that is very, very clear. And now we'll move to some other sources. So understand, Islam is lie, built on deceit, built on lie. Right? It is lies through and through. So do Muslim linguists lie when they claim the Quran is great? The Quran is crappy Arabic, please. Okay, so now let me see if I've forgotten anything from these notes. Okay, so let me see if there's anything that I need to... Okay, we've mentioned this. Now let's go through Reliance of the Traveler. Okay, let's see what the Reliance of the Traveler says. Mods, how can I drop a message to Brother Lloyd? Just drop it in the chat. Send me... my email's on my About page on YouTube. If you go in a browser on your laptop or PC, go to the About page of my YouTube profile. My email address is there. Otherwise... okay, hold on a second. You know what I'll do? I will send you a... hold on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send you an email address you can use to email me. Just give me 1 second, please. Okay, while that's happening. I apologize for the short interruption. I'll be right with you guys in a second. Okay, well, that's loading, so... Okay, so do me a favor. I'm going to now drop this in the chat. Christian JC, use this email address, reach out to me. Try that, okay? You can just use that email address that I just dropped in the chat to get hold of me. Edkin Al-Guni says, lying, ceremonial, stupidization, subjugation, of course. Is Islam the success of the harlot of Babylon? Dude, that question is above my pay grade. I don't know. I don't deal in conspiracy theories. I don't deal in... Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. You don't know. Doesn't matter. They will kill you. They will stab you on a bridge. They will blow up your stadium. Right? So we need to deal with practicalities. I'd prefer to deal with practicalities from things I can read because I can prove those things from their writings. Okay, so Christian JC, hopefully you've seen that. So drop me an email. Are most lies done consciously in Islam? So Ricardo, that's a very good question. Are most lies done consciously in Islam? So the answer, I think, having looked through it, look, I've read through these notes, but most of it I read today, so I'm not that familiar with them. But I would say the answer is yes. Okay? And when they lie for Allah, when you do something for the benefit of Allah, not for your own benefit necessarily, but of course you're doing that consciously. But when you do something for the benefit of Allah, you have to do so willingly and knowingly. It's called niyat. Let me just turn this, I just moved this thing. So it's called niyat, intention. Okay? You have to do so for Allah to recognize the action. It must be done with intention. Intention to do so for the glorification of Allah. So if you're going to lie to the kafir, that's you, you have to do so with clear intention that you're doing so to benefit Allah, to benefit Islam, to bring glory to Allah. Okay? So yes, he is conscious. Otherwise, Allah doesn't recognize it because you did it with a weak heart. You did it with poor intention. Understand? Yeah, intent. Ricardo Marin, such a crazy faith. Islam, look, I've stated this before, but most Christian apologists, okay, don't have a genuine understanding of Islam because they don't know the Sharia. They've never studied Islamic law. The Quran is the lowest level of knowledge in Islam. The reason that lay Muslims always insist upon the Quran and the Hadith is because this is what they have access to at their level. They're at the lowest level of knowledge. They're at the bottom. Okay, they scrape the bottom of the barrel. And if they're allowed access to a resource, it means that that resource is toilet paper. Okay, if a lay Muslim has access to a resource, it means that it is irrelevant. It's designed to keep him happy and stupid. Okay, when you go to a seminary to study to become a qadi, to become a major jurist in Islam, okay, a mujtahid, do you think you spend 7 years just reading the Quran from page to cover, 500 times? No. You will study Islamic law, and that is a very different topic. Okay? You learn the ijma, which is the final consensus, the final understanding, the final interpretation of all things Islam. So pretend the Quran never existed. Pretend there is not a single copy of the Quran on the whole planet. Pretend there is no hadith ever written. Then go study Islam. And ignore the tafsir as well. Okay? Ignore the Quran, ignore the tafsir, ignore the hadith. Pretend they never existed. Go read the Sharia. Don't waste your time on those other books. Okay? Once you've learned the Sharia, then you will understand those sources much better for various reasons I'm not going to get into right now. Are scholars who are Muslims always lying? There's the research. Look, they do lie. Understand, some things are true, some things are lies. You need to know, you need to have knowledge to understand what the difference is. But they're allowed to lie to their own people. In terms of what they call scholastic theology, the Kalam, they have to lie to their people or not give them complete knowledge. Keep them in the dark. Okay, so our scholars or Muslims, they're 40 to 22 years of study, 7 years on average, exactly. Okay, do you think you just read the Quran from cover to cover? No, you don't. You go and study a whole bunch of legal texts. Okay, what else? We had a Muslim president who lied to get into office. If he said he was Muslim, he wouldn't have been elected. Exactly, Linda. Correct. Okay, now, guys, it is not permissible giving directions to someone who wants to do wrong. Okay, giving assistance, giving help. No. Okay, it is not permissible to give directions and the like to someone intending to perpetrate a sin. Well, when I say, hey, Mr. Muslim, please help me with this Sharia thing, can you show me the laws for? What book is the one that has the law for A or B or C? He cannot help me because I am not intending to benefit Islam. I'm intending to perpetrate a sin. I'm intending to undermine Islam, and therefore he's not allowed to help me or you. It is helping another to commit disobedience. I am committing disobedience. I am disobedient to Allah. Okay, I'm disobedient to Muhammad. Do not assist one another in sin and aggression. Awesome stuff. Okay, now the Sharia will quote the Quran. What is relevant, what is left, what is not abrogated in the Quran is in the Sharia. Okay, and when the Sharia quotes the Quran or Hadith, then those Hadith are valid. What it doesn't quote pretty much has been abrogated. You can toss it in the bin. Okay. Giving directions to wrongdoers includes showing the way to policemen and tyrants when they're going to commit injustice and corruption. Right? Like in Molenbeek, when for months, the Muslims hid those terrorists, okay, who shot up Paris in 2015. Well, they hid them because you don't show the way to policemen and tyrants. Committing the injustice of those innocent jihadis who were just doing Allah's will by murdering 86 people in the Bataclan. Then, teaching questions of sacred law to those learning it in bad faith. You are learning, and I'm teaching, the sacred law in bad faith, who do not want the knowledge to apply it in their lives, but attempting to destroy it. Understand? There's a very different view that we have versus what they have, and thus the Sharia must be kept secret from us, must be hidden from us. And comments, are there books in English available? Of course there are books in English. I mean, I'm reading it in English, Sergeant Grinch. I heard on DCCI channel, Juliet says, will surely reference it and share when I come across it all. The Syriac Aramaic of Islam is a good read. Okay, blah, blah. Reliance is a small book, and he's right. Reliance is a small book, but it's an incredibly relevant book, okay, because it contains a little bit of everything. No one single Sharia manual contains everything, but the Reliance has a little bit of everything and points you to where you can go for more information. It's very, very helpful in that way. It's a wonderful compendium, okay, summarizes so much. So Ibn Firman is lying out of his ass, Okay, he's truthful on some things. On some of his videos, I've learned a few things from him. There's a couple of things that he gives away that he doesn't realize when he thinks he's talking to Muslims on videos designed for Muslims, like teaching them, if you want to learn the fiqh, you must go to this book and that book and this book. Useful stuff, very useful. Did Muslims read the words of Lord Jesus Christ, who the devil is father? No, because they reject Jesus, they reject the Bible, they reject God. Okay, so moving on. Right, now, they cannot permit or authorize a person to do something that entails disobedience. For them to accept disobedience is itself disobedience. Therefore, they now need to do something about that against you. But let's look at the chapter within the Sharia, page 744 of the Reliance, section R, 8.2, called Permissible Lying. Okay, let's see what this Sharia, the world's most famous. Now, Muslims will go, but it's not the most famous. So, okay, which one is? Okay, which one is? If not this one, which one? They will never tell you. This one is. Okay? Now, he who settles disagreements between people to bring about good or says something commendable is not a liar. So in other words, if you settle a disagreement through lying, you're not a liar. Okay? Now, I did not hear Muhammad permit untruth except for three things. Muhammad did not allow lying except for when you lie to your wife in warfare, and we're permanently at war with those non-Muslims, and for settling disagreements. Now again, do we disagree with Muslims? Of course we disagree. Are they allowed to lie to us under those conditions? Of course they are. This is an explicit statement. Lying is permissible for given interests. Okay, lying is lawful. And it says that the best analysis, according to the Sharia manual, I have seen is by Imam Ghazali, who says, speaking is a means to achieve objectives. Objectives is something you have in warfare, right? When it is possible to achieve such an aim by lying, but not by telling the truth, it is permissible to lie if attaining the goal is permissible. When the purpose of lying is to circumvent someone who is preventing one from doing something permissible, and obligatory to lie if the goal is obligatory. So, I think they've just stated here that lying is obligatory. Now, let's continue. It is not unlawful to lie when any of these aims can be attained only through lying. I'll repeat that. It is not unlawful to lie when any of these aims can only be attained through lying. So can Muslims lie to you? Of course, yes. I think we've proved this over and over again. It is religiously, but, it is religiously more precautionary in all such cases to employ words that give a misleading impression, to deceive, to use more subtle deceit. In other words, they told, try not to lie if you can use subtle deceit, if you can use words that are misleading. Understand? So they will lie to you subtly, and they will lie to you brazenly and openly. Okay, any comments? What have I missed? And okay, so, and that's it. Now, the outward purport, the outward meaning of the words deceives the hearer. Okay? The outward meaning of the words deceives the hearer. So Muslims are allowed to, required to, is obligatory for them to deceive you. Now you need to utilize this knowledge. You need to start making this public, taking screenshots, pasting this stuff, putting it out there, downloading the books, putting it in everyone's faces so people understand just how ugly and filthy and dishonest this particular deen is. Okay? It is not unlawful to lie if their aim can only be achieved through lying. Right? If their aim is to win a debate and they can only win through lying, lie. If they need to defend their honor because losing the debate would affect their honor, lie. Okay? So I think we've covered this quite thoroughly. Let me see if I've missed anything. Let me see. This is another version of the Ihya Ulum al-Din. Okay, this is another version. Of course, a lie is permitted if the truth would lead to another prohibited thing that is worse than lying. So again, slightly different wording, same statements. Of course a lie is permitted if the truth would lead to, something that is worse than lying. Then it is permissible. Okay? So, yeah, Allah's messenger did not permit lying, except for three things. A man saying something with the intent of reconciliation. That sounds so nice. Okay? Such wonderful use of creative, flowery language, euphemisms. Reconciliation. Well, we don't want to argue, we want to have nice peace between us and the Christians. So we're going to lie to you. We're going to lie through our teeth. Please don't be fooled. Don't be taken in. Unfortunately, maybe not every Muslim's going to lie, because I've met some great Muslims. I've met some wonderful people in the Middle East, some really good people who are better than their deen, who are better than their prophet. But there are those who will lie to you and are lying to you. Okay, have I missed anything? No, I think I've covered this. So look, you guys can read through this. This link is too long to. This book is Al Ghazali's adapted summary of Ihya Ulum al Din, the 40 Principles. Right. I found this on Google Books, and this is just a small section, and Ihya Ulum al Din, and I said permissible lying. So I did a Google search on Ihya Ulum al Din, plus. Hold on, let me just take this up. I did a Google search on Ihya Ulum al Din here, plus permissible lying. That's what I searched for. This is what I got. So you can find this. So please, guys, if I ever hear any one of you say the word taqiyya again, I am personally going to come to your house and slap you. Okay? Because if you keep focusing on this little taqiyya thing, which is this little tiny seed that they admit to, and ignore the whole forest of lies to your left, but you're focused over here with your little microscope, I'm going to come to your house and I will personally slap you for not focusing on the important issues, the depth and the breadth of their doctrine of lying. Okay, I hope that's clear. Right, so yeah, have I missed anything? Let me see. Oh wait, there's one small thing I'll show you guys that I'm gonna go to Quranics 68.1. I'm not going to go into too much depth, but I'm going to go here. This is Quran 68.1, the commentaries for Quran 68.1, okay? And this is it's a discussion on the secret letters, the unknown letters in the alphabet in the Quran. And this is what is interesting. I was discussing this with someone last night. The Pir of the Tariqah, okay? The elder of the school of Sufism, said, "O Allah, no matter how sinful we are, you are forgiving. No matter how ugly our deeds, you are the concealer." You see, the Sufi are above the law. Okay? Ricardo Maran, what is it you said here? LOL. Okay, my bad. So understand, the Sufi, in some ways, the high level of Sufis are above the law. They're above the Islamic law. They're literally above the law. And it's a longer discussion to get into that, not now. No matter how ugly our deeds, you are the concealer. Allah hides their deeds. O Allah, you have the treasure of bounty without equal help. It is worthy that you pass over our disloyal acts. Allah forgives them no matter what they do. Okay, so hold on, I have a message I need to read. Give me 1 second. This is relevant to the discussion. Oh, the stutters have started again. Ooh, bugger. Okay. So guys, YouTube has decided it dislikes my video. It's starting to stutter. This is a discussion for another day. Now, on this point, you need to go look up something called Ibaha in the Encyclopedia of Islam, volume 13. Okay? So this thing about where the Sufis are allowed to commit sin, it's called antinomianism, right? Antinomianism, and it's known as Ibaha in Islam, and they're allowed to violate any and all laws. They're allowed to violate any laws, any moral laws, any laws of Islam, all the laws of God as we know them. Okay, this actually is very interesting. It relates to that, but that's a discussion. I had that in the previous show, so guys, watch the previous show I did, the Telegram talk, and I will be that is covered there in the opening 20 minutes. Okay, so Matenga says, is the reliance of the traveler based on the 4 schools, and would it include doctrinal agreements, laws for all Muslims? Yes, of course. Okay, short version. Muslims will always come to the rescue with their wonderful arguments, say, but the scholars disagree. Well, the scholars also happen to agree. And in fact, what they disagree on is about roughly 25% of the Sharia they disagree on. They agree on 75%. It's called the ijma, the consensus. Okay? And let me actually show you. So since we're asking these questions, let me where the heck do I need to be? It's not this one. That's here. No, it's not that. Okay, so to answer your question, Matenga, let me get into that. Oh, Ibaha. While I'm here, I may as well just speak about this since it's on the page. Ibaha in theology is a term that is commonly applied to antinomian teachings of the Sufi groups. Okay, allowing the forbidden. Understand? They're allowed the forbidden. The Sufis are allowed the forbidden. Look up antinomianism. Okay, look it up. Antinomian. It's a common feature of many Gnostic groups where they would do wife swapping. They would do anything that violated the law of God because Yahweh was the evil God, and their concept of Allah, right? The Tawhid was the good God, and Yahweh was the evil satanic God, and therefore they had to violate, go against Yahweh, and do the opposite of whatever He commanded because that was good, and that's antinomianism, and it's allowed. The Sufis, certain Sufis, are allowed this. Okay, so many I've spoken to seem to think Sharia isn't bad, but in others, is there, dude? It's called a lie, Ricardo. I hope I've made it clear to you. They're lying to you. Get that through your head. They're all lying to you. Okay, if they're a Dawa Gandhist, they're liars. Bluntly, Sharia makes Muslims into conmen, unfortunately, sadly. Okay? They don't see the world the same way you do. To them it's good, to you it's evil. Okay? To them it's righteous, to you it's called lying to you. Okay? So, okay, where was I going? I was going to go, oh gosh, there was a word I was going to look up, ijma. So the ijma is a legal term. It falls under the law and jurisprudence, and we'll get to it in a second. Ijma is the most important of the, okay, in law it is the third, but in practice it is the most important of the sources of legal knowledge in Islam. It is the consensus of the scholars, because when Muslims go, but you must read the Quran, I just read the Quran. No, they don't. They absolutely don't, because the Shahada didn't come from the Quran. The 5 daily prayers didn't come from the Quran. Understand that if every Muslim is reading the Quran and interpreting it his own way, then you've got 1.4 billion different competing versions of Islam. Then they're all Protestants. They're all Martin Luther. Every single one of them. That would lead to chaos. Okay? So they have the ijma. 75% of the Sharia doctrine is identical. 25% differs. So for instance, one Muslim, from one school, he might pray, for argument's sake, he might pray with his hands up here. The other one prays with the hands down here. Does that affect Islam in any way? No, there's no bearing. It's entirely cosmetic. There's no relevance whatsoever. You've sent me on Skype how to shorten my Google Books URLs. Okay, thank you. That'll be very helpful. That's actually, yeah, I should go to one of the URL shorteners. I literally planned this half an hour before I did it. I mean, I literally broadcast this, and I was busy getting this together literally before the thing. I just kind of said, hey, let me do this. Thanks, Erkan, though. Okay, is there anything good in Islam? Here's an issue that I have with certain apologists that will state, well, Islam is evil. It does allow murder. It does allow pedophilia. It does allow killing apostates. It does allow killing and blowing up stadiums, and it does allow lying. But it's not all bad. I'm like, Hitler was a good vegetarian. He loved dogs. He instituted the 8-hour work week and built highways. Hitler wasn't all bad. We need to celebrate his good points. The answer to that is, I can't say this on a family-friendly show, but anyone who says that, I have lost respect for you. Okay? No, there is no good in Islam. Okay? There is no good in Islam. It is evil. Okay? You don't start looking for the good things in evil so you can find ways to coexist with it. No. It needs to be stopped. It needs to be called out. It needs to be exposed. Simple. Okay? So, ijma. It is the most important of the sources of legal knowledge. Quran, abrogated. Hadith, abrogated. The hadith, all over the place. Okay? So, they had to collect all that, make sense of it, create the ijma, create the sharia, which is the consensus, the final interpretation, the polished, perfected, final version of Islam. It is the unanimous agreement of the community, okay, of scholars. It is the unanimous doctrine and the opinion of the recognized religious authorities, who are the perfect scholars, the absolute scholars, the mujtahids mutlaq. Okay, so go through my previous shows on the Sharia on that. And okay, Ricardo, thank you. Now, guys, hopefully this is clarified, and I think we're done. Like David, if it were a bit more violent, it would implode by itself. Yeah. Look, with all due respect, David Wood does amazing work and has done, but my personal view is David Wood hasn't said anything new in 5 years. He's repeated himself for 5 years. And David Wood knows the Quran very well, better than I do. I don't know the Quran as well as he does. But David Wood doesn't know Islam very well. And I mean this very respectfully. And understand, I mean this in a very technical manner. David Wood doesn't know Islam very well at all. He's an amateur at Islam. He's an expert on the Quran. He doesn't know Islam very well. I'm an expert on Islam. I'm not an expert on the Quran. Those are two very different things. Okay? Islam and the Quran are two totally separate things. So make the distinction. I'm not looking to offend anyone, but I'm trying to make this clear. And Islamic apologists are doing themselves, anti-Islamic apologists are doing themselves no favors by ignoring the Sharia, which is the final version of Islam, the final interpretation, the final summation. The Sharia is the final fruit of Islam. It is the final product of all of Islam. Okay? Just like you had the Torah and you had the Pharisees come along and make the Talmud, and the Talmud sort of replaces the Torah. Exactly the same happened in Islam. You had the Quran, you had these hadith, and then you had these scholars come along, the Islamic Pharisees, and they made the Sharia, which is the Talmud of Islam. And they took the Quran and they threw it out the road. They threw it by the wayside. They dropped it in the bin, dumped it in the sewer, and they refer to the Sharia. The Quran may as well not exist. They will not miss it. If all the Qurans disappeared tomorrow, the scholars wouldn't even notice. Okay, so guys, Bob, welcome. So Hillslide, yeah, you came too late. So David Wood only knows Quran and Hadith. That's good, but he lacks what about Sharia, everything. Yes, David, this is true. It's not meant as an insult. I'm sorry, but this is also, I think, why many of these apologists look at me and go, "What the hell's that guy talking about? He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's not talking the Quran. He's not talking the Hadith. He obviously doesn't know Islam." And the correct answer to that is something I can't say live on air because it wouldn't be polite. So yeah, but fine and well. Okay, guys. So those are yeah, debit. Yeah, I can't tag you. Yeshua's Yahweh, thank you very much. So guys, I literally put this together half an hour before I came online. That's why I didn't put it up 3 hours before, a day before. I literally said, these things I'm seeing are annoying me right now. I want to do something because there's an itch I needed to scratch. So guys, let me call it. It's been longer than I've intended to go, and thank you very much. Thank you again, everyone, for all your kind support. I really do appreciate it. It's good to know I have so many good friends out there. If you guys want me to do lectures, lessons, anything like that, thank you for rewatching. All notes in the description. Anything you need, drop in the chat. Guys, if you guys want lessons, if I'm supposed to put together some kind of curriculum, some kind of discussion, let me know. I can do a Zoom call, get a few of you on, and I can start teaching. You can ask questions or something. Or unless I just do live streams where I let you guys ask questions and try and take you through and show you how all this works. Okay? Because, yeah, it's bad enough I have to fight against Muslims who constantly disagree with, who deny their own stuff, but then we've got Christian apologists who also don't agree with this stuff and deny it. So yeah, it's all fun and games. But guys, I would love to be on David Wood's show or DCCI, but look, I've never spoken to David Wood, but I will tell you that a number of these apologists do know me. They've all, let's just say they're not talking to me. I don't know why. Many have wasted my time. Many have invited me. One of them, a very well-known name, has invited me on 6 times and then ditched me 6 times, and he can go and himself. And it's happened with others as well. And whatever, let them go do their thing. I'll do mine. They're fine. I've been insulted. I have been ghosted. I have been by these well-known names. And as I said, they can all go do whatever they do without me. Anyway, so guys, have a nice day. We'll see you again. Take care. Bye.